What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Indie Inkwell. My name is JJ, one of your two co-hosts. Back with me this week on a special Valentine's Day edition, I guess. Michael, aka Longbox Entertainment. What's going on, my man?
What is up, brother? Good to be here. I know last episode I couldn't make it, but I'm glad to be here for this one. So
Indeed. And so we're not wasting people's holiday today. We're going to get right into our little sponsors read real quick. And today's episode is, as always, brought to you guys by Into the AM. Into the AM is a team of artists and creators with a shared vision of seeing clothing as a canvas to express yourself and what drives you. And since 2012, they have been developing premium apparel with the goal of elevating self-expression while providing unmatched comfort no matter where your passions may take you. They have everything from simple tees and hoodies, boxer briefs, socks, hats, graphic t-shirts, and the graphic t-shirts is what sold us on them. They have all kinds of designs. No matter what you're into, you're going to find something you like. You can use code JJComics at intotheam.com for 10% off your order at checkout, as well as right now they are having a site-wide 70% off sale. So you get that 70% off plus an additional 10% off when you use code JJComics at checkout. intotheam.com/JJComics for 10% off your order. Thank you to Into the AM for sponsoring this show and helping the independent comic book community to grow. And with all of that, let's introduce the guest. Please welcome a good friend of mine. I've known this guy for about a year now. I've interviewed him probably 3 or 4 times for other shows, but this is the first time he's on the Inkwell. But everybody, please welcome Alan Dunford to the show. What's going on, my man?
So, if this is people's first impression of me, I just realized I already look like a crazy cat lady because okay. For those of you watching, currently in the process of moving, but I do own 3 cats, so part of that holds true. But I just realized that after looking at everything and okay, hey, what's up? Glad to be here.
What's going on,
Yeah.
man? How you doing? It's been a while since we
I
talked to you.
know. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good.
doing great. I'm glad to finally meet you, man. JJ
Hey.
always talks about you. He
I was
always
saying,
looks
I plug your
really
books
dope.
probably more
Well,
often than anybody
Yeah.
else's books on
well,
my
here's
channel.
the thing though. JJ's standards are probably way too low. So I just want everyone to know that. So if JJ's talking about my books, he has nothing else to talk about, and I'm so sorry.
Okay, well, I can definitely say that's a freaking lie. Because if anybody who's taken
Uh,
up my recommendations to check out
yeah.
your stuff, all of them have loved it.
Oh,
So
awesome.
I haven't heard one bad
Yeah.
thing. But for those of you who do not know Alan, can you kind of give everybody your brief origin story, kind of how you got into comic books and how you got into the comic book industry yourself? I know you've told me this story
Mhm.
probably 4 or 5 times at this point,
Yeah.
but it's always a new show, new audience. So
Hey,
here
yeah,
we
you
are
know what I
again.
mean. You gotta talk like no one's ever heard you before, right?
Right, exactly.
Uh,
And Michael and you have just now met for the first
mhm.
time today, so he hasn't
Okay.
heard it yet.
Well, Mike, man, are you ready for the most underwhelming story you've ever heard in your life?
Underwhelming. I'm pretty
Yes.
sure he's not gonna be underwhelming.
Oh, my, oh, just like JJ standards, it is. So,
Oh,
man,
y'all are in for a treat today.
all right. So I've always liked comic books. My big thing though was manga, and manga is what actually got me into this medium. But dude, it was 2020, and I think like a lot of people, you're trying to find new outlets, new creative endeavors, or whatever during lockdown.
Mhm.
And me and my good friend Will I called him up and I said, "Hey, you want to write a comic book?" And he said yes. And then that's it. And then here we are. And it's funny though because we wrote Pocus Hocus was our first one, and we didn't plan on doing anything after it. We planned on Pocus Hocus only being 4 issues, and whatever happened. And if we made some money along the way, great. One, that's awesome. And then Pocus One did all right. It was the first book on Kickstarter, and then Pocus Two came out, and we were like, oh my god, people actually care. This is weird. And then it just kind of snowballed into that. And then I started coming up with other ideas for other things, and then Grandma Chainsaw came into being, and then Horse and Hell, and then some of the other stuff that JJ seen and everything like that. But yeah, it's just been it's been a lot of fun, and always a huge shout out to Mike Teener over at Bad Bug, because without him, I don't think I would have had this whole process going, because he really pointed me in the right direction with a lot of stuff.
I was saying, I'm pretty sure he or somebody from Bad Bug recently reached out and they want to collaborate and do something. So
Yeah,
we're getting something in the works with them as
cool.
well.
Yeah.
Um, what was I about to say? Completely. my train
Brain
of
That's it.
fart.
I think the interview's over, right?
thought.
That's
No,
it. Like,
not
that's
by
all
a
we
Actually,
do.
long
that's it.
shot.
Yeah. All right, y'all.
That's
You
it.
guys have
We're
a
gonna
good
go ahead
day.
and pack this up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, man, that's
No,
awesome. The fact that it seems like you starting writing comics was just like, hey, this just seems like something fun to do,
Mhm.
and it took off. Actually, I think my first interaction with your comics was the trailer for Horus and Hill.
Oh, really? Okay, that's cool.
Yes,
oh,
Yeah.
yes, because I sent
yes.
it to him because we were trying to get a
Mhm.
compilation video made
Mhm.
to help you out and promote it,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was
yeah.
trying to
Right.
get a bunch of people's reactions, but the problem was I would send people the trailer, and they'd wait 6 weeks to do their
Oh,
reaction to
yeah. So, yeah, by that point,
it.
the campaign's already over. Yeah,
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 so I got, like, 2 clips from people in time, and
yeah.
that wasn't enough, so
Hey, yeah, man, it happens. It happens.
I just want to bring out I was not one of those 6 weekers.
No,
Okay.
he
Hey,
was
that's
he was
fine.
one
You
of
were.
the, like, next day after I sent
Yeah.
it to him, he sent me a reaction clip.
Like, okay.
But no, yeah, Horus is kind of a, I'm sure we'll get into it and stuff, but I think, Horus was one of those weird successes, because it was something that people were kind of asking for, and Horus is a side character in a series called, our first series, Pocus Hocus, that's still ongoing. And Horus,
Here's some
he's a
covers
pink,
for
yep,
everybody watching at home.
just a pink bunny from hell. I mean, like, and it just resonated with people, I guess, and it was just yeah, man, it's been one hell of a journey.
Pun
Yeah.
intended.
Ha ha ha! I'm so funny.
So, okay, for people who are unaware, basically, Horus is technically a demon, right?
Yeah, he is a demon,
He's
100%.
a demon. He's a general in Hell's biggest army, and he accidentally swears his allegiance to this magician from the original series he spun out of, named
Mhm.
Pocus Hocus.
Right. Yeah,
And it just
because
kind of
Pocus.
and he is
Yeah.
basically the one trying to keep Pocus from getting killed all the time.
Right. Yeah.
Like-
So
Yes.
Pocus sold his soul to a demon to have actual magical powers. That's the catalyst for the whole series, and it's his journey through hell to get it back. So if you guys are into like Faustian tales and stuff with some dark humor in it, we're having a lot of fun with it. We're in the process of working on Pocus Hocus 6 right now, which is kind of crazy to think that we have a chapter 6 entry into
Oh,
something.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited for number
Oh,
6.
we're excited to get back into it, and we'll talk more about that later. Um, but yeah, it's just kind of, we thought that story for Horus was funny, because we like the idea of a demon's word as kind of its bond. And during that huge battle, Pocus drunkenly opens up a portal to hell through his hat, and he's just trying to pull stuff out just to mesmerize his audience. And he happens to grab Horus, and Horus thinks that through his years of servitude in Hell's army, this is his like eternal reward.
Like
And
he's been
he's
chosen now.
Yes, he thinks he's been chosen by, Lucifer or whoever. And that's when he's like, I pledge my allegiance to you. And then he just realizes, oh crap, now Horus
He's
is
on
on
stage in
Earth.
front of an
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah.
So then Pocus tries to do the trick again, and this time he passes out before he can close the portal. And Horus gets drugged back into hell. And that's what starts the Horus in Hell series. So it's Horus trying to get back to Pocus.
And and basically that's the first issue basically is he gets dragged down into hell and kind of has to figure out what he has
Mhm.
to do to get back to
Yep.
Pocus and close this portal.
hmm And
So
then, yeah, issue 2 picks
so
right up where issue 1 leaves off.
issue
Yeah.
2 is getting ready to come out. So what can we expect in issue 2
Yeah,
without
issue
giving
2.
too much away?
Well, yeah, issue 2 is launching Tuesday, next week. And
Um,
So I always, now this is going to sound bad, but issue ones are always hard for me because I want to go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of it, right? I want to. I want to go and show the action, all the crazy stuff that we're thinking about. But issue one, we always try to play it a little safe because we want to build the character. We want you to care and come back for issue two and try to leave on a good cliffhanger. But yeah, issue two, we finally start to get to go balls to the wall, and you get to see what the mission is that Horus has to do, and
Right.
what he has to get in order to get back. And yeah, as of right now, Horus and Hell series is slated to be 4 issues, and it's so fast paced. We promise that opening up this book and reading it is only going to take, it's going to feel like it took you 3 seconds, just
Yeah,
because
it's
it's like
about a
everything.
5,
Yeah,
maybe 10-minute read if you're really taking your time.
yeah, but we
True.
just want it to be fun. We want the art to tell the story, and we can obviously tell Kit's having a blast drawing this thing. So
Oh
it's
my
just,
gosh.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. We
Like, if
and
you're even slightly familiar with Kit Wallace's artwork, this is him 100% all
mhm.
over.
Yeah, he's having a blast doing this, and he's coming up with stuff that we didn't think about, and we couldn't be happier to have the team that we have on this thing.
Yeah, man, it's
It's
freaking hilarious,
Yeah.
dude. Like, something where, as you mentioned, like it's not a wordy comic
Mhm.
series at all. Honestly, none of your work is very wordy. I could see that
No, I get
manga,
it.
that
Yeah.
manga influence really, because
Mhm,
manga, it's very, the art tells the
mhm,
story,
Mhm.
right? And I talk about that a whole lot. I love that. I hate it when comic books are too wordy. It's
mhm.
a visual media. Let it be
Yeah.
visual, right?
Yeah, because sometimes, if you have people who are like at a shop or flipping through a Kickstarter, and you have a preview page with a lot of words on it, someone might just skip over it. It's weird, right? Because like I like to let the art, like you said, tell the story with everything, and that
Mhm.
was something that we tried to do, especially with Grandma Chainsaw. Uh, we don't take ourselves too serious at all with anything, and that's our number one priority, is just to have fun. And if we're having fun doing this, then it will project to the reader, and they'll have fun as well.
Oh, 100%, and
Yeah,
especially with Grandma and Chainsaw,
my cat's having
it
the zoomies.
sounds just
Yeah, I'm just watching
it
them bust ass through
right.
there.
But, with Grandma Chainsaw, like, when you originally came on my old show to talk about it,
Mhm.
it looks and sounds like it would be like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre ripoff, but
Right.
it's really not. It's
Yeah.
like, you can tell that as soon as you get into it. Like, yes, the
Mhm.
very beginning of the first issue is kinda like tropey, horror movie
Mhm.
tropey, where it's like a group of teenage friends, a car breaks down, creepy old house in
Yeah.
the woods is where they break down at. But right after that, it's completely off the wall.
Right. And that
So
was, yeah, that was intentional, because like whenever we sat down to write the thing, we actually had like a whole backstory for all the characters, and we were going to get into like what was driving them and stuff like that. But then at that point, we're like, God, we're kind of boring ourselves. Let's just cut all that crap out, and let's just get straight into it. Who cares?
right, like,
Yeah.
especially with how quickly some of those characters,
Die.
die, it doesn't really need to
Yes.
be explained who they
Mhm.
are because they don't
Right.
really last long enough.
Right.
Like, there's only a couple characters that last long enough to develop a bond with.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, like that was intentional. And introducing the Dead Squad was
Mm,
something that we did to ramp up our
I
body
love those
count.
guys.
Yeah, well, you love to hate them, right? So yeah, and having the
Well,
Dead
they don't
Squad,
last very long either, so I
they
mean
don't. Yeah, it's a slasher.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, the thing's a slasher, and you have to go in with no emotional attachment to anybody,
Yeah.
and just read this thing for face value for what it is, and just have
It's
a
it's like
blast with it.
watching a Freddy or a Jason movie from the '80s and '90s, like,
Yeah,
there's
Oh yeah,
no
most
real
definitely.
plot,
right.
it's just
Yep.
slaughter. Like
Yeah.
Hey,
We.
with some
Oh, go ahead.
comedy, with some
No, yeah,
Oh,
comedy,
yeah,
no.
no,
a
with
little bit of
Grandma
comedy.
Chainsaw, it's so funny. The Dead Squad alone are just, like, the most obnoxious people you could possibly think of, like, and, you can
Yeah.
guarantee you know somebody like
Mhm.
each one of those guys
Oh,
in your
yeah. I
friend
mean,
group.
yeah, we're
Like
we're all in that medium. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I I used to play Friday Night Magic really heavily, and go to play D&D and stuff like that a lot in high school. And those people. Like it is
Yeah.
what it is. Like you know those people and all that stuff, and it was just so fun to like inject that kind of humor into it because we've all been around it.
Right.
And we definitely tried to focus on the series of Grandma for some sort of mystique around it, because we end issue 3 with a pretty big cliffhanger, and kind of hinting at what's really going on. So issue 4 is actually going to be the finale, and we're so excited but so sad to see that happen. So,
Yeah, because
So
it's
no
it's a
more.
series that you kind of want to see more chapters
mhm.
of,
But
but at
I
the
don't want to
same time,
overstay my
if you do
welcome.
too
Yeah.
much with it,
hmm
it could become just a constant movie trope
True.
Yes.
or a parody book,
Yeah,
which
we
we're
don't want
not.
a Hazel Goes to Manhattan situation.
It's not meant to be so funny as that it's a
Exactly.
parody of
Mhm.
Texas Chainsaw or something.
Right.
Exactly. You don't want it to end up like the actual Freddy and Jason movies.
Where they're
'Cause,
like 8, 9, 10, 12
yeah.
movies in and nobody knows what the hell's going on
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, of course, we've talked about stuff to do afterward. We talked about like a Dead Squad series and stuff like that. But we got
That
a
could
lot of
be interesting.
we got a lot of other stuff on our plate right now, but that is something that we would definitely be more than happy to revisit if people actually wanted that.
I'll say, speaking of a lot going on right now, this new series, one of the books you sent me was something I was not expecting from you because it looks more like a Western at first.
Oh yeah, the Herald. Yeah.
Yeah, talk
Mhm.
about that a little bit. What kind of brought this up? Because this is, as far as what I'm used to from you,
Mhm.
this is definitely a little bit different.
Yeah, so this series, I was approached by Ruben Mosho, who has done cover work for me before, and Ruben he's a really good guy. He's become a really good friend of mine. He had this idea for this. We didn't have a title for it yet, but he was wanting to, I guess, kind of explore this crazy idea. And he came to me because I guess he liked what I was doing with some of the other stuff, and he and I sat down and really expanded on this little universe that we created. And
Mhm.
um, it's a western at its core, but it's a lot more to it because I just love occult stuff, supernatural stuff. Yeah, JJ, you've had a chance to see the whole first finished issue
Mhm.
of it. We're actually going to be launching the Herald within Horus and Hell, for a limited run.
Oh, okay.
So that cover that you guys saw just now,
Mhm.
it's only going to be exclusive to the Horus and Hell campaign. The logo is going to be foil embossed, and this cover is going to be numbered. So it's kind of like a pre-order type thing before the actual Kickstarter launches. So
Nice.
yeah, so we're just trying something different. But yeah, so the Herald follows a stranger in the West who comes to a town looking for an item that Aaron Cassidy has, and he gets it back through some hellacious means. We'll say that, or starts the process of getting it back. We'll say,
Yeah.
or getting information out of people. So it's yeah, it's a blast, dude. I hope that you like what you've seen, at least from the first chapter.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, it's
yeah,
super
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
It felt.
wanted,
Because there's
yeah.
also, like, some kinda time travel aspects going on or,
hmm
like, immortal being type stuff, like, you don't
Yep.
really 100% know what's going on.
And shout out to Dave Lentz right there for the lettering.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness,
When he did the
Dave
Greek,
Lynch shout out
yeah, the
anyway
Greek
because his
font,
lettering work
yeah,
is amazing.
yeah, that Greek font right there was just such a smart choice with how he did everything for us to drive the point home. But yeah, man, and we're trying to hint at a couple different things right there that you just saw because it looks like we have a time skip. We go from ancient Rome and then now we're in present day to us, which is Western.
Yeah,
Yep.
because yeah, he shows up and, like, eh, nothing goes down the way you think it's going to in this first
Yeah.
issue. Like, nothing. Like,
Yeah.
everything changed. Like, fair warning, everybody, if you don't like, "Oh, this ain't that bad." We've seen worse on the show. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we had John Clark on, and we had to, like, blur stuff. But but, yeah, like, the dude gets shot, like, what, 5 times in the face at least?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, so that's what guns do."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
boom, he's just like, I am now the Ghost Rider. Like,
yeah. And that's the thing too. We obviously we're a huge fan of these kind of things, and we talked early about like what artistic choice that we wanted to do and go for this, and Ruben, he nailed it. It feels like something that would have been drawn in that time period. Like
yeah,
you see illustrations and
like
stuff,
in
and that's
those old penny novels from
right.
like the
Yes,
old 1800s.
yeah,
Like
the Penny
pulp.
Dreadfuls. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
very pulpy.
we wanted very, just flat color choices, because that way everything pops to us
Hmm.
then on the page that way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because
good.
even these subtle scenes where there's not much going on, the colors are telling you a story.
Hmm. Yeah, like I said, we just wanted that good feel, and that's even like right here. The crow is cawing, but he can understand it. So we're trying to hint at a couple different things that's going on to the ending of it. So I think we have this book slated to be 5 issues.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, like I
And
think
that's
if
one thing I like about a lot of your guys' stuff is you don't have like 100 back issues to go and check
Yep.
out to catch up with everything,
Yeah.
or you don't have like 100 coming down the pipeline that I
Hmm.
have to like dedicate myself to. Like
Right.
it's a lot of
Well, I
like
feel like
quick,
we're
easy to
getting that
read
way though,
stories.
man. Like, because it's like we got
But
crap on
it's
crap on
like
crap.
you guys can
Like,
start taking up room on the trade paperback shelves. You know what I'm
there you go.
saying?
Yeah.
Like 5, 6 issues each run. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's perfect trade size.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, we got people in the chat. Yeah, we got Chris Jerome, Bad Bug.
I would
We got
say
Jay
for
Burns.
anyone in the chat
Yeah.
talking, I do apologize. My end is glitching out. I can't see the chat
Terrible.
today,
Um,
so I don't
Everyone's
know
talking
what
about how
anybody's
Oh.
bad
saying.
of a guest I am. Alan is hang it up while he can. Oh my God,
I'll
They
Jacob.
say,
are
Michael,
not
look,
Why would
saying
you
can you
say
that.
see
that,
the
Jay?
chat, Michael?
Yes, I can see the chat.
Yeah.
Click on the chat and see if you can make somebody's chat message pop up. I'm curious if you have control of that. You're learning live on the air with us today, everybody.
Perfect.
I'm clicking, but it's not.
Hey, it's all
It's
right.
not doing nothing.
If I see
Yeah.
anything too
No
harmful, I'll
worries.
let you guys know. But as of right now, unfortunately, everything's being kind of awesome. So yeah,
No, we've got a pretty good chill
yeah,
audience for when they do hang out with us.
Yeah.
So they're all usually very supportive, and we appreciate that. There's enough toxic people on the internet. We don't need them in our show. So with all these creative teams, like how do you guys go about getting everybody together? Because I'm sure, especially like newer indie creators, they're probably trying to figure out how to gather a creative team for a project.
yeah.
So what's your kind of process? I know a lot of these guys you meet like
Mhm.
online or whatever, but that's kind of just vague and broad
Yeah.
advice.
So I went to Match.com and then realized I was in the wrong place. So, um,
How many awkward meetings was that before you
man,
realized?
like,
Oh my
yeah,
god.
way too many. I'm a slow learner.
Hey, for the people that's listening, if y'all are loving Alan's humor, this is
Yeah,
the type of humor you get in his books. Okay, I hope y'all know that.
pretty lowbrow. Um, but no, so the one thing that I will say, and obviously again, shout out to Mike, because all of us at Bad Bug, I feel like we're always trying to be the best that we can be, and we support each other, and that goes hand in hand, especially with new creators. Um, so the thing that I'll say, like obviously, kind of look at artists that you like in books, and then just spend time scouring, social medias, stuff like that, because find an artist that you like, and believe me, if you think someone isn't going to message you back, hey, that's fine. Still shoot them a message, because
Mhm.
you'd be surprised. We're all, a lot of us are all indie in this, and scour through Kickstarter too. If you find like a favorite indie author that you have, look and see who they're using for their artist. Reach out to them and say, hey, do you happen to know anybody too? Because it's all about networking with this stuff and staying consistent.
100%.
So one thing I will say though, um, you are on your own timeline. And what I mean by that is, from where you're independent, you don't have someone breathing down your neck telling
Mhm.
you, "Hey, we got to have the script written by next Tuesday, and we got to have the art done in a month, and we got to have the lettering done in a week after that." Um, take your time, make the book that you want to make that you can be fully proud of. Like, if there is an artist that you do want, and they might be a little bit out of your price range, my always suggestion is just save up, because I think that the result will show, and you'll be
Right.
happier too. You know,
Rather than
obviously,
compromising
mhm,
everything on
Mhm.
a budget
cheaper,
constraint.
more
Yeah,
inexperienced artist.
right. And that's the thing too. Like, yeah, I get it, man. Comics are expensive. Like
Yeah.
making indie books.
No
Oh
facts.
my God. No one will prepare you. Like, what they should teach you in school is how to do your taxes, the price of furniture after you graduate. Jesus.
Oh my
And they
god.
need to do a course on indie comic books and how it
The
can drain your bank account,
the
whether
first
you're
time I
making
had
them
my
or
own
buying
apartment, it
them.
was probably 3 months before I had a couch. I mean, I had
Yeah,
to save up for that
dude,
couch
nuts. Okay, yeah.
forever.
So think of your first comic book as your first couch moving in, right?
Mhm.
Like you want it to be a nice, good couch that's going to support you. Do that with your book, like, and the results will follow with that because, like I said, I think it's a mind over matter thing. You know, if you do finally have that book and the dream artist that you have, and you can even do it in chunks too. Like, especially when you're first getting started, just be like, hey, be honest. Like, I can only do like 5 pages at a time. Right. Stuff like
Right.
that. Just be honest with yourself, be honest with them. And I promise you it's going to go such a long way. And reach out to other indie creators. Um, me, like, I'll be more than happy to give you any ill-informed advice that I can to try to point you at least halfway into a right direction. And I know all the guys at Bad Bug are the same way too. So
Yeah.
as long as you're networking, and the results will follow. So it's just stay consistent, and really don't compromise on the book that you want to make and the book that you're going to be proud of to put out. And I'm off my soapbox.
No,
Oh no.
that's
Yeah.
great, dude. Cause like, when people don't, they wanna just get their art out there.
Mhm.
They want their creation out in the world, and they wanna do it now. I
Right.
think the instant gratification of our society has
Mhm.
completely ruined
Oh, I get
everybody.
that, dude. I'm
Oh yeah.
impulsive. I get that when it comes to this stuff, but I've really had to like rein myself in and just think about a lot of stuff. And it's kind of like, whenever I got Brian Belando on Pocus One,
Mhm.
I waited for Brian. Um,
Mhm.
I reached out to Brian in like November, and Brian didn't have an opening till like February or March. I can't even remember to start doing
And you
Pocus.
could have very easily just
Mhm.
said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna just go find
Yep.
somebody else because I
Yep.
wanna do it now."
But I waited and I stayed in contact with Brian. And, once every like 3 weeks, I would just message him like, hey, just want to let you know I'm still here and I'm still interested. I'm waiting for you. And then once it finally came time, yeah, dude, we've been inseparable ever
Oh,
since.
so you guys hit
Yeah.
the ground freaking running.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
That's
Brian's
awesome.
obviously the main illustrator for Pocus, Grandma Chainsaw. Beneath the Lighthouse, we have that coming up too.
I was gonna
Um,
say that's a perfect segue.
mhm.
Speaking of Beneath the Lighthouse, I don't have any artwork from this. You didn't send me a full
I
copy of
did.
this. You
I
did
sent
not
you,
send me a copy of this.
JJ, you are a liar. I'm going to check the email right now and call you a liar. Hang on.
I
Give me
either didn't
Corrected.
see it or that link did not work or something.
gasp. Okay. Well, I'm going to send it to you now.
Ha, see? I
So,
told you. I do not
well,
lie, my friend.
you
Yeah, that
do
was a
lie. You are a terrible, terrible man, JJ. You- but
Well,
yeah,
if you
so
ask a Spawn fan, they might agree with you,
okay.
but
uh,
So yeah, Beneath the Lighthouse is gosh, I don't even know how to say this. It's our first jump into this is our first one shot. So we're super excited about that. Um and it's kind of like our nod to A24 stuff, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so we wanted something that was just like completely out of this world, and just something that was just so crazy that we could kind of get away with it in this type of storytelling, because I love lighthouse stories anyway.
Mm.
Um
It's just
and
it's such a creepy vibe to
Yeah.
right.
start with.
I
Yeah.
immediately
You're
thought of
alone on this
the
little rock
the
on with this big light tower, and it's just
yeah.
you and the ocean, and there's nobody else around. That's
Mhm.
creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I
that's
immediately
yeah.
thought of the movie with Robert Pattinson.
Oh, lighthouse. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So our story starts with a guy on a boat during a hellacious storm, and a wave crashes, and he wakes up just on this lone island with a lighthouse, and that's it. and we just go from there. And all the are they hallucinations? Are they ghosts? Like, what is he seeing? So we wanted to take this one a little bit more of a serious route and just kind of get this out of our system, right? So
Mhm.
that's why we thought that a story like this would be really good for a one shot and just kind of test the waters, see maybe if our audience likes something like this. If they don't, hey, we tried, right? And we always want to take risks and deliver the unexpected. So
That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people are wanting a lot shorter one and done stories now
mhm,
because people's attention spans are so short these days.
right.
I think the 5, 6 issue runs and the trade paperbacks and the one shots are doing a lot better than people
mhm,
realize they are because it's easier to keep up with.
right.
And you can get a whole story in one solid thing. Is that something you're noticing as well as a creator that like
Um,
single issues may not be the primary form of comic books for much
I,
longer?
I don't know, like because I love telling like a bigger story with everything. Um, so I guess it might be personal preference, but I think from an indie standpoint, because JJ, I think you and I have talked about this before. Um, when it comes to Kickstarter, it's unless you're going with someone who is well, I don't want to say well known, but more known in the sense of like, hey, they'll deliver their product and they'll keep going with this because
Mhm.
like how many times have you found the series that you really like on Kickstarter and they get to like issue 2 or 3 and then they just don't make any more? Or
There's some
yeah,
I've backed for issue 1 that got funded, and I still haven't seen that, and it's been like 2
yeah.
years.
So it's a dice roll sometimes with this stuff, right? And I hope that we're one of the ones that like, hey, if we see we have like a new long form series coming out, it's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, they'll finish it, and they'll go with it. So it's like
I mean, when Grandma
yeah,
Chainsaw dropped, I've got the retail tier if
yeah,
that tells people anything, and it came on time when you said
yeah.
it was gonna show up. I think it was maybe a week later than you thought it would be,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, when it comes to so, and that's something that like, and I'll talk about that with any indie creator, especially those back in Kickstarter. Like, obviously, be generous with your shipping. I think we said Grandma 3 was going to be delivered by March, or I think I put March or May. I can't remember, but we almost had everything completely delivered by the end of January. But you never know with like printing holdups.
mhm.
If you get your books in and there's something wrong, like that's
Then
the
you gotta send
worst.
it back and get them to
Mhm. And
reprint
then you
it,
gotta
and
wait, yeah, and, the worst thing is you get your stuff in and you gotta wait for stretch goals to come in. That's a nightmare
so then
Yeah.
you're just
because
kinda sitting on all
yeah,
these
you're sitting on all
books.
these books and you're like, "Ugh." It's just a
Yeah.
stretch goal, but, it's that incentive and that exclusivity, right? That like, "Hey, I did this on Kickstarter. I have this, no one else has this."
Right.
True.
It's
Yeah,
like the metal covers for Grandma Chainsaw 1. I
mhm,
got one of
right.
those as
Yeah,
well.
and we'll never print those again after that.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I went ahead and sent you 5 of the lettered pages for Beneath the Lighthouse too, so you
Okay,
guys can
cool.
check those out whenever. Yeah.
Mhm. Man.
So, as, like I guess I would call you, like, a Kickstarter veteran at this point.
Feels like it. It feels like
You got it
war.
down pat.
Yeah.
What should people be looking for on Kickstarter as far as if they're just a reader trying to find something new? How is there a way to kinda tell if that Kickstarter campaign is gonna be, like, a reliable one that you're actually gonna get your stuff from? Or
um
is it really just, like, you have to ask around and hope for the best?
so obviously you can always click their profile and see how many projects that they have done. So that's a good way to look at it. And if those projects are fulfilled, hey, check the comment section. Check their updates. Make sure people are like, "Hey, I got my books." Or if they don't even have anything on there, that's also a good thing too because we, we fulfill a pretty good amount. I feel like for just being us, and we don't have people commenting on our stuff because I just feel like it's just, oh, we know they're going to deliver it or they already delivered it. Cool, Alan, thanks. Right. And then
Well,
that's
and
it.
another
You
thing
know
you
what I mean?
guys do very good,
Yeah.
you guys are very good at, updating people.
hmm
You guys
Yeah.
send out, like, almost weekly updates during a Kickstarter
Yeah.
campaign.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing too. Like we try to not overcrowd people with them, but if we feel like there's something important that we need to say,
Like,
we'll
if there's
see.
some kind of delay on anything,
Mhm.
you
Oh
guys
yeah,
let everybody know immediately.
yeah, and that's the thing too. Even though those messages suck to send out, just be honest with your backers. But if
Because,
I'm in,
as a reader, I
Mhm.
appreciate just, "Okay, cool, I know I'm gonna have to wait a little bit longer for
Mhm.
this."
And obviously we're all independent. Things happen. It is what it is. But as a new reader, if I'm looking on someone's campaign to back their book, I would hope that there would at least be a couple interior pages already finished and lettered, because
Mhm.
that means it just kind of shows like, okay, well, this book is real. It's not just covers or
Yeah,
however
Yeah.
you want to
one
look
thing
at it.
I
Yeah.
can't stand is when I look at a Kickstarter campaign and all it is concept art.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough,
Exactly.
dude. I made that mistake with my first Kickstarter. We had 3 covers on there, Brian, Kit, and then a good friend of mine, Stephanie Mooney. But at that time, we didn't have Brian's cover yet, and we still launched, which was stupid. Like, thinking back on it, like, why would I do that? People who backed Brian's cover didn't even know what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
But it's that excitement factor. You wanna get
Right.
it out now. You wanna,
Yeah.
you wanna get everything
And
up
Mhm.
now.
dude, if I had it to do over again, because Brian's cover was so striking, like, I don't even know what we would have made on the first issue now. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if you really went back and think about it, like, we were fine. We had like 70 backers. We were stoked. But yeah, if I could go back and really think about it, we may have hit over 100 on our first campaign. But because I
Mhm.
was impulsive and didn't
Mhm.
want to wait for the cover to be finished, that, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you
Sometimes
live and learn.
patience.
Yeah,
You gotta practice patience. You
yeah,
know.
you live and you
Yeah, I
learn.
mean, I think we all make that mistake when we start doing something new that we're excited about. I mean,
hmm
I know with content creation when I first started and when I finally got that confidence to actually be on camera in my
Yeah,
videos, I didn't really at first I didn't really care about how much effort went into the editing process of it
right.
because I just wanted to get the content out.
hmm
But
Yeah.
after a while, I'm like, okay, I need to put a little effort in.
Yeah, I need to slow
Like,
down maybe just a little bit.
just a little bit.
Yeah, but no, like I said, it's patient. Patience is key. And
Oh yeah.
the old adage, patience is a virtue. I mean, it's true. Like, if I would have just even waited on that, again, I don't know what that would have projected me to be. Right.
Mhm.
So again, you live and you learn.
No,
Yeah,
indeed.
no,
I mean,
100%.
but I would say, like, from seeing your Kickstarters and
Mhm.
everything, like, you've made it very customer friendly. Like, we've
Yeah.
already talked about that. Actually, before we started the show, me and JJ were talking like how we love that there's like 8 or so pages of interior
hmm
artwork from the actual book.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not concept
i-
pages.
Right.
It's
yeah,
you get a sample of the book, so you're actually getting like a taste of the story, so
Mhm.
you could be like, okay, is this something I want to figure out what happens next, or do
Yeah.
I not care?
yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
And that's the thing too. So something that we've talked about and started doing is once we get so far into a series, we've actually started putting like an 8-page ash can up of the first issue, just so
yeah,
that
I've
yeah,
seen you guys start doing
j-
that.
just so that way, like, you can kind of try before you buy.
Mhm.
Because listen, everything's expensive, and I'm not trying to get on a whole economy preaching
I think that's
system.
a whole other
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
everyone knows
yeah.
groceries are expensive. Gas sucks. Everything sucks. Utilities
Hmm.
suck. And it's like, you guys are spending your hard-earned money on my hobby. This
Mhm.
isn't a necessity. I would love for one day though. It's like, oh, there's a new Alan Dunford comic out, or a new Rabbit in a Hat Studios book coming out, a new Bad Bug book coming out. I gotta have it. Like,
Right.
I want
Right.
that. You know what I mean? Like, I want that to feel like a necessity. Like, that means I'm doing my job and I'm providing like entertainment in that way. But Kickstarters are expensive. You a lot of people are sometimes paying upwards 10 to $20 for a single 24-page floppy,
Mhm.
Yeah.
when you could go to your comic shop and buy one for $4. But what you're getting,
Depending.
yeah, depending, right?
Yeah.
But what you're getting is a unique one-on-one interaction. A lot of times you're getting better quality books from at least from a printing paper standpoint too. Um, and it's just such a and we hope that you're finding stories with us that you can't find anywhere else, right? And we like it that way.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like Horus in Hell
Yeah.
anywhere, or
Oh yeah,
Pocus,
that's
or
facts.
Grandma Chainsaw, or
Yeah,
That is facts. Like,
so yeah.
literally every book has been like a surprise. Like, even
Well,
when you think things are gonna get
mhm,
cliche, like in Grandma Chainsaw at the beginning, where you have the teenagers and all that stuff,
mhm.
it completely
it
redirects.
divulges
Yeah,
like 2 more
Yeah.
pages in.
yeah.
Like,
So, and that was the thing. I remember I talked about it with Mike. he was like, Alan, here's the thing about your writing. You say I'm going to deviate to this direction, and I'm going to do it whether you like it or not. And we just commit to it. Like, if we like when we did the Dead Squad, I didn't know how that was going to be received.
Right, because
But
that could it could have been over the top too silly and just killed the
Mhm.
whole vibe of the book.
Yeah, but we did it.
But it didn't.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't. Somehow it didn't. Yeah, so we just had the Dead Squad, and we just went with it.
I mean,
Yeah, take
dude,
it.
it works,
Yeah.
right? So I got a question, and like, feel free to not answer this one if you can't.
Yeah.
But this is just pure curiosity.
Mhm.
I noticed that you're not with SourcePoint
Mhm. Right.
anymore.
Right.
Can you say what happened with that?
So
Or
yeah, so the guys over at SourcePoint, I mean, they were all incredible people. I just think that they reached a point where they needed to slow down a little bit on some of their production and kind of refocus and rebrand for what they need to moving forward. So, um, I know that I wasn't the only one. Some of us got released from our contracts.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, I've
Mhm.
seen quite a few people say, "Hey, I'm not with SourcePoint anymore." Like,
We got released from our contracts, which that was very generous of them to do that because they could have hung on to this for dear life, and then what would I have done? You know,
you couldn't have put it out somewhere else.
yeah.
Like,
See, and that would have sucked. So, you know, Mike is one of my closest friends, and we decided that going back to Bad Bug just felt like the right move, because not even so much going through that, but just really like thinking about everything. Sometimes staying independent might be the best thing to do. With how you want your books distributed and how you want to present it on Kickstarter and how you want to do this or do that, because this is the best way to get your book out yourself, and also the best way to ensure that it is the product that you want at the end of the day. And
Right.
when you're working with a team like an independent publisher like Bad Bug, who does have a proven track record and who does have a relatively big following, especially this early on, um, it's easier to feel like you're doing something right, you know. Um, so yeah, that was kind of it. A long-winded way of just saying, they just thought it was in their best interest to not try to hang us on anymore or string us along, and they just released us. And obviously it was one of those like more respect for them than anything for being able to come out and be like, hey, we have a lot of stuff going on right now, and we just don't want to drag this along.
right, when they
So
could
yeah.
have just kept all
Mhm.
those publishing deals and,
Yeah, we'll let you know when
locked
we're
up your
ready.
guys' stuff
Yep.
in a vault,
Yep.
and you don't see it again for a decade.
Right. So, but yeah, obviously shout out to them, and also shout out to ODPH in the chat.
What's up,
Love you
Ken? Like I
guys.
said, I can't
Yeah,
see the
Is
chat. I don't know why
yeah,
Restream is glitching out on me. I can't see any of the chat, so I
yeah,
apologize to anybody trying to talk to me.
yep. Yes, I love the guys over at ODPH. Some of the best people on the planet.
Oh yeah, Ken's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was it. That was a source point question.
Okay, well that's good then. At
Yeah.
least it was all good terms and good
Mhm.
stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, 100%.
That's why I was like, feel free to not answer because
Oh yeah, no,
if it
it
was some drama that
Yeah.
went down, I'd be like,
yeah, no,
you don't
or
need
if it was
to.
like an NDA or anything like that. No,
Right.
they just needed to kind of recalibrate. But yeah,
Okay. Well, that's cool to hear. At least they're not like either completely going under or it
mhm,
was something crazy.
right.
So I can't imagine there's anything else that you've got coming out here soon, or is there anything that we haven't talked about yet?
Okay, so we're
I know Pocus 6 is in the works.
all right, so Brian's already started on Grandma 4, the finale.
Okay.
Um so our plan right now is Grandma 4, Pocus 6, Beneath the Lighthouse, uh Pocus 7, and then shift toward another series that we're going to be working on called Deacon Dan's Famous Chili.
You
And it's
told me about
yeah,
this one before, I
yeah.
think.
This one's about a church deacon who keeps winning the church chili cook-off every year, but then you find out he's slowly turning the town into cannibals because he's serving people. to them. So yeah, it's like Sweeney Todd meets Dexter.
I don't think I've ever seen Michael's face react like that to somebody's
I was like,
book
oh,
description.
Yeah, so
Whoa.
yeah, we
see,
decided
that's
to
the
call it.
stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's Deacon Dan's famous chili. So then obviously with Kit Wallace, you know, we're working on the Horus series, getting that done, and then we have another series. We can't really talk about it just yet that we're working on, but we're hoping that something good happens with that. So,
Oh man, I'm
Heck
definitely gonna
yeah,
check
and
that
you
one
guys,
out.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
can find all of that over on Alan's Substack for, is it Rabbit in a Hat Studios now?
it's still labeled as tophatstudios.substack.com, but we have to call ourselves Rabbit in a Hat. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's a whole other episode.
That was a weird thing, but yeah, no, you can just follow us on the Substack.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys can find it all on Substack right there at the QR code on your screen, or there is a link down in the description below of this video if you're listening on Spotify tomorrow. And you can follow the latest Kickstarters that Alan and the team have got going on right there at this QR code on your screen. And again, there are going to be links down in the description if you miss the code on the screen. All right. Is there, I mean, shoot, man, is there anything else you want to plug before
No,
we?
I'm tired of talking.
You're tired of talking.
No,
Well, it's Valentine's Day. We should probably
It's
let you guys get
Valentine's.
back to your
Yeah.
ladies anyway.
No, you
That
guys
is
have
true.
always been fantastic. I appreciate you guys more than you'll ever know. But yeah, just keep making great content and just appreciate it, man. Thank you guys.
Well,
Look here,
thank you
man.
for coming on the show because, like we tell every
yeah.
guest, if nobody comes on to talk to us, we don't have much of a show to give.
Right.
So,
Thanks.
everybody watching, thank you so very much. I apologize for not putting anybody's chat messages on the screen, but again, something's going on. I can't even see the chat, so I thank you for being here and hanging out with us anyway. If you want to help support the show and help the indie comic book community to grow, you could check out our merch store, pick up a t-shirt, and pick up maybe a hoodie, stickers. We got all kinds of stuff. Or you can go over to our sponsors website. If you don't like what we've got, they've got all kinds of awesome graphic t-shirts, or maybe you just need a new hoodie, or maybe even a new pair of boxers. We all need something. You can go over to intotheam.com/JJ Comics to get 10% off your order. Plus, they are having a 70% off sale on their website right now. Combine that, that's 80% off your order. You're dang near getting this stuff for free. And you're helping the show and helping us help the independent comic book community to grow.
Tongue twister.
Tongue twister, man. My name is JJ. That is Michael. He's Alan. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Everybody, please be safe, be kind, and take it easy.
Bye, guys. Are we off the stream yet?
We are not.
Can I say terrible words yet?